probably the most crucial and critical general election in the last 50 years. And the more people who vote, the stronger the message within our democratic system is.
Many of those voters seem ready for a change at the top.
I would have voted for the current government not to be in power, and for the specific reasons that they've just made so many bad decisions over the last, well, in my opinion, 5 or 6 years.
I actually went independent for my first choice. Why? I mean, everyone's kind of saying that Fine Gael are going to make a change, but I don't really feel that they are. It's pretty much the same.
The Fianna Fáil party, so long the dominant force in Irish politics, is facing election meltdown.
The party was founded in 1926, and since it first came into government in 1932, it has dominated political affairs in this state. And even when it has been out of government, the least number of seats it has had, it's never fallen below 60 seats. And often it has been above 70, and on a few occasions it has been above 80. So this represents a collapse for Fianna Fáil, and it will take them a generation, a political generation at the very least, before they can repair it.
Fianna Fáil took Ireland into the good times, but crucially they were in power when the dream went bad. A banking bust, a $115 billion bailout, and years of austerity measures ahead do not make for a happy voter. All the main parties have promised they'll renegotiate the terms of the country's humiliating loans, but it's doubtful there's much room for manoeuvre. The real masters of Ireland now live over the sea in Europe and New York. Whoever wins this election has a tough job on their hands. Rory Challens, AlJazeera, Dublin.
The United Nations is warning that Côte d'Ivoire is on the brink of sliding back into civil war. Post-election fighting between supporters of rival presidential candidates Alassane Ouattara and Laurent Gbagbo is escalating. Thousands of people have fled the economic capital, Abidjan. In New Zealand, violent aftershocks are shaking the shattered city of Christchurch. 123 people are now confirmed killed in Tuesday's earthquake. That total is expected to rise further because more than 200 people are still missing. Search teams from 6 countries have flown in to help local rescuers, but no survivors have been found since Wednesday. Well, the standoff over budget cuts and union rights in the U.S. state of Wisconsin is now in its 10th day. Well, Daljit Dhaliwal is in Washington with the details. Daljit.
That's right, Sammy. Thanks very much. Now, public sector workers have taken to the streets to make their voices heard. But Republicans pushed through the controversial bill that will eliminate nearly all union rights for state employees. And as Camille Al-Hassani reports, the fight is far from over.
Fury in the Wisconsin State Assembly. When the measure passed, Republicans hastily exited the chamber to a chorus of jeers from Democrats. Some of them claimed their votes weren't counted. The bill now has to be passed by the state Senate, but 14 Democratic senators fled Wisconsin last Friday, preventing a vote. They're still biding their time in neighboring Illinois, insisting they won't come back until Governor Scott Walker agrees to negotiate. And they're backed up by tens of thousands of union supporters who've occupied the state capitol building for more than a week.
We feel that that balancing the budget should not be done on the backs of working class citizens who keep our communities running.
Walker claims he's merely trying to fill Wisconsin's $137 million deficit. And if the measure isn't passed, he says the state will be forced to lay off 1,500 public employees as early as next week.
We cannot go this far. We cannot go down this path and somehow deny the fact that the reason we're facing this problem today is because past governors and past legislatures failed to make tough decisions.
The protesters say they're willing to negotiate on benefits, but they won't leave the halls of the Capitol until the governor comes to the bargaining table. Camille El-Hassani, AlJazeera.
Japanese carmaker Toyota is recalling more than 2 million vehicles in the United States. At issue is a defect that causes the accelerator pedals to stick, the very same problem that's led to more than 12 million recalls worldwide since 2009. Mexican police have found the bodies of 3 people related to a human rights activist killed last year. The family claims it has been targeted by soldiers since reporting abuses in Ciudad Juarez. A filmmaker on a mission for justice is set to shed some light on the murders of American civil rights activists in the 1960s. With witnesses getting older and evidence gathering dust, time is ticking on these so-called cold fire cases. But as Rob Reynolds explains, a new TV series hopes to help authorities solve crimes long forgotten to all but some.
A new series on the American cable network Investigation Discovery digs into unsolved murders from the U.S. civil rights movement era.
Someone knows what happened.
Filmmaker Keith Beauchamp is working in tandem with the FBI to uncover new evidence from cold case files.
I think it's extremely important to revisit these murder cases and hopefully get justice in some way for the families and closure.
The first program is about a case from 1967. Civil rights activist Warless Jackson of Natchez, Mississippi was driving home from work when a bomb wired into his truck detonated, killing him instantly. His son heard the explosion and rode his bike to the scene.
Several people already there. When I made it there, it was just like he laid it straight. Shoes blown off of the truck, just all mangled.
The FBI case file on Jackson's murder runs to thousands of pages, but no suspects were ever arrested.
Mr. Westbrook?
Beauchamp confronted an alleged former Ku Klux Klansman implicated in previous bombings.
Never heard nothing about that, no.
The FBI is investigating over 100 unsolved cases from the era. A senior African-American congressman says he's not satisfied with their progress.
These cases they should have been solved some time ago.
Beauchamp hopes his films will shake loose new evidence or witnesses before it's too late.
This is a race against time. You know, each day that passes by, perpetrators die off and witnesses die off. We don't have that much longer to go.
Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera.
And that's it from me. Now back to Sammy in Doha.
Thanks, Daljeet. Well, there's plenty ahead in sport. We'll ask if the world number one, Caroline Wozniacki, can continue to power through the field at the Qatar Ladies Open.
Rhythms of resistance. A part of the struggle, and popular resistance is art. Through my art, I resist. Resistance is my art, and my art is my war.
Musicians using music as a way to maintain their cultural identity.
I believe that when I sing to the world, I portray Palestine through my voice, my singing, and my songs.
Songs from the lost homeland. At this time, on Al Jazeera.
As geeks take on dictators, bloggers turn dissidents, and social networks root for social justice, governments are going cyber, spying on their citizens, erecting firewalls like iron curtains, and closing down websites. We ask, is cyber-generated change virtual or real? Empire at this time on Al Jazeera.
People talk about televising the revolution. It's tweeting the revolution, Facebooking the revolution, videotaping the revolution.
A new world driven by new media.
This is a very peculiar moment in media history.
Nobody can force me in 2011 to watch whatever I don't want to watch.
Analyzing the media's role in shaping modern history. The Listening Post, at this time on Al Jazeera.
Well, the Cricket World Cup is underway and Sri Lanka takes on Pakistan in just a few hours. Well, matches are being hosted in India, Sri Lanka and Bangladesh. But even though it's a heavy hitter, Pakistan won't be co-hosting any of the games. Zain Basravi investigates why.
World Cup glory. Now anyone can have it.
Cricket Power is the first PC cricket game ever developed in Pakistan. The official World Cup game is something millions of fans around the world look forward to. For the company that won the rights to make the game, it's a commercial coup. And for this cricket-crazy nation, another way to get in on the action. Pakistan may be having a perfect innings in the digital world, but things aren't going so well in the real world. Here in Gaddafi Stadium in Lahore, there is a tournament going on. Teams from across the country, some of the top players in Pakistan, are competing for a national title. But as you can see, the stadium is completely empty, and that's because it's too difficult to get the security needed to fill the seats. After the Sri Lankan team was attacked in 2009, Pakistan became a no-go country for international matches. Recent spot-fixing scandals have also been a setback. Cricket in this country has suffered financially. Cricket fans in Pakistan have suffered emotionally.
It's a big, big loss. Pakistan is a cricket-frenzy nation. Cricket is a passion here. I mean, everybody follows that. And not being able to host the World Cup here, which was originally planned for Pakistan, part of it. So that is a big loss in cricketing terms.
For most of the fans in Pakistan, this is the best way to enjoy the sport. Good old-fashioned street cricket. On any given Sunday, anywhere in Pakistan, even in weather like this, anywhere becomes a cricket pitch, and all you need to become a neighborhood legend is a bat and a ball. Dozens of teams are playing on the same pitch at the same time. In Pakistan, cricket is more than a sport, it's a passion. And the love of the game is keeping people here optimistic.
Security concerns have hurt the game, but we hope someday the World Cup is played here. And this year, we want Pakistan to win.
Pakistani fans will have to tune in on TV or online to watch the 2011 World Cup, but real die-hard fans of the sport will be on the streets, hoping maybe one day they'll be the ones to bring the World Cup home. Zain Basravi, AlJazeera, Lahore.
Let's continue with the sports theme now and over to Ashley.
We start with World Cup cricket, and the co-hosts Bangladesh have recorded a first victory of the tournament. They beat Ireland in a low-scoring but very tense match in Mirpur in Dhaka. After choosing to bat first, Tamim Iqbal got the home side off to a rollicking start in this Group B clash. But after he was dismissed for 44, the Bangladesh batsmen really struggled on the slow pitch and accurate Irish bowling. They were eventually bowled out for 205. The Irish starting cautiously themselves, but crucially, they lost